How did I do it? How did I win the store championship? Well, we played Reanimator. Let's start off with the land base, because I know there's going to be questions there. Doubters, even. Creeping Tar Pit, this is the best card in the format. This is what swung for lethal to get me first place at the store championship. I will not take any constructive criticism on this card. As for the rest of it, it's fairly standard. We have 8 fetches in the forms of Flooded Strand and Marsh Flats. One of each basic to play around Blood Moon. I've seen a lot of Blood Moon running around my store, so I was terrified of that. 2 Sea Chrome and 1 Dark Slick Split for the Ephemerate. The reason I'm not running Concealed Courtyard is because I am running Spreading Seas in the board. Now let's talk creature choice. We've got 4 Archon of Cruelties, we got 4 Grief, we got 3 Muldrifter, 4 Solitude. I didn't like Solitude for the longest time. I thought, I'd rather be running like a counter spell because I can just counter it on the way down. But being able to tap out and still have an out to your opponent, having a large Titan or having a large Hammer Time creature coming at you is kind of insane. This card feels like it was the MVP of last night. We're running Muldrifters to help get us out of that control matchup, because if we're playing a 5-mana 2/2, they don't want to counter that. So we just get to draw 2 cards, and they're going to try and bolt it or shoot it somehow, and you're just going to go Ephemerate, and they're going to go, oh, you've just drawn 2 additional cards. And then the card advantage just stacks up and up and up, and you will eventually just draw enough lands to start hardcasting your Archons of Cruelty. We run a Singleton Unburial Rite so that we can grab it off of Unmarked Grave in case we are flooding out later and have Archons in the bin and can't seem to find a Persist. We're running 3 Prismatic Ending to deal with any main board shenanigans such as a Teferi or a Territorial Kavu. The reason we're not running 4 is because we would then have to go down to 2 Muldrifter, and having the 3rd Muldrifter versus Control is very strong. I don't even need to talk about the Planeswalkers. You know what Teferi does. He ruins games, turns it into Hearthstone, lets you do stupid persist shenanigans on their end step so you can Archon on the end of their turn. Moving on to sideboard, we have 4 Chalice of the Void. This is good versus a lot of burn decks and Lurrus decks, because they're trying to stay in the 1, 2, and 3 drop range. Surprisingly, if you look at most burn decks nowadays, they're running a lot more Skewerly Critics and Rift Bolts than Lightning Bolt and Lava Spike effects. We run 4 Dovin's Veto for the control matchups and the combo matchups. And I'm talking like Charbelcher combo or Gift Storm combo. Being able to counter your opponent's T3 without them being able to respond is very strong. Being able to counter Charbelcher without them being able to go, Pact of Negation, doesn't work anymore because it can't be countered. Engineered Explosives is for a lot of the token matchups or the 1-drop spamming matchups. It can also be good to take care of a Blood Moon because we have our super not greedy 3 basic lands. The Prismatic Ending is in the board just so we can have the 4th copy to hit turn 1 Ragavan if needed, or in games that we know that there's going to be a rested piece in play. The Serra's Emissary in the board is there because I couldn't find a slot for a main. I felt that having the Solitude and Grief packages with Ephemerate was just strong enough that I could sneak out game 1 to figure out if I would need this or not. Because a lot of the time you would actually board this out. It's good against decks like Affinity, Belcher, Burn, and Amulet Titan, where you can name land versus the Pinnacle and creature versus the big Titans that are coming your way. Spreading Seas is great versus a lot of matchups that are trying to use Urza Saga because of ETB, draw a card, and their Urza Saga now goes to the bin. It's also good versus Amulet Titan. It's great versus a lot of land matchups, is the main takeaway here. I will be working on putting together a sideboarding guide and primer for this deck. Stay tuned for that. I'm not going to be posting it on YouTube. I will be keeping it on Moxfield, and you'll just be able to read through it. I don't want to make another Magic video because this was horrible. This was an awful experience. I like playing video games. I don't like making a 10-page report. So anyways, thank you very much for stopping by, and see ya.